Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Steve, for organizing this on such short notice. I'm glad that everything worked out. So my name is Marissa Shell. I'm a visual artist and an educator. And in my research, what I'm interested in is the artificiality of the contemporary landscape. And if we look at these two photos here, what I think is so interesting about these two photos is that they are inherently they are seemingly different, but they are inherently similar at the same time because of their manicured and systematic appearance, even though one is concrete and one is made of biomatter. So on the left, we have an aerial shot of me flying back into LaGuardia, and on the right, you have corn or soy crops that you might find in the Midwest. So in my work, I like to explore this intersection of nature and industrialization, and I like to speculate on alternative ecosystems. So kind of like I'm kind of making it's kind of like sci-fi worlds following the Anthropocene. So in this piece is called Alter Eco. I used foam and plastic to represent a world that might hypothetically exist following the extinctions of humans. And it was really inspired by a book by Alan Weisman called A World Without Us, where he talks about what the world would look like if humans were to suddenly disappear. So this piece, there's a lot of plastic in our oceans. So in this piece, I tried to represent waves using foam, and I also added mechanically and laser cut acrylic chips to represent the different kinds of industrial and technological processes that we use to make mass-produced goods. And then, I also like to use I am a mixed media artist, so I like to use a lot of different materials because I think of these, I think about how everything we make might have a physical impact on the world once we're gone. So I'm really interested in what's going to happen to all this stuff that we're mass producing. So there's compressed wood. There's some cardboard covered in felt, which I also laser cut. And I also, to go back to this kind of like intersection between nature and synthetic or industrialized materials, I use AstroTurf, and it looks real, but it's definitely made of plastic. So here are some more recent works that I have been doing. These are inspired by abandoned silos and barns that you might find on a rural or country road. So for these pieces, I like to work a lot from the corners because I think about a corner being a very vulnerable part of a structure where you might start to see mold or water leaking or water leaks, or you might see like spider webs and like bird nests a lot of times they will originate from a corner. So what I also, and actually also the corners, the drips rather, are meant to look like possible oil spills, or again, back to this kind of idea of leaking water, or just these insidious kind of infestations. And on the left, I've represented leaves and perhaps the absence of leaves. So these kind of represent, or they could represent, the loss of a species or a microbiome. And then on the right, I use this kind of fishtail pattern, or shingling pattern, shingling or fishtail pattern, which you might also see on a roof. But it's also a decorative pattern that's used in embroidery. So it harkens back to the craft and the history of craft and sewing. And these are my final pieces. These are the most recent pieces that I'm working on. So in these pieces, I'm experimenting with metallic, this metallic rigid commercial aluminum mesh that's used for insect screening, and I'm molding them with stones to kind of make them look, to try and transform my material from something that's really commercial and industrialized into something that's much more natural and soft looking, and to make it look like forms, to make them look like forms that have evolved naturally over time. So if you want to see more of my work, you can go onto my website. That is also my Instagram handle if you use Instagram. And if you are ever in downtown Overland Park, you are more than welcome to visit me in the studio. I am at Interurban Art House Studios. It's me and about 20 other artists, and we would love to have you. We have public hours. Check the website, and thank you so much for having me.